Thousands of you have asked me to make today's video. We are reviewing the whole of the Minimalist range. I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan, a medically qualified doctor and a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. Now, today's video literally took me 2 full days to research, plus I literally have 10 A4 pages of information that we need to get through. This is a big mistake. I love. No! I actually really like this formula. You are asking for trouble. Some of these products are excellent, some of them are terrible, but all of them were worth reviewing. Not saying anyone's copying anyone, but if you take inspiration from the West. I'm really scared to put this on myself. Okay, I'm doing it for science. Don't forget, this is a non-sponsored channel. I don't accept payment from anyone ever. I purchase all of the products on this channel with my own money so that I can give you evidence-based information. Don't forget, I am in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every YouTube video. So when you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can come and ask me your skincare questions. Now, recently, we just hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I cannot believe it. But what I found was almost 90% of those who watch this channel haven't subscribed. Please, can you do me this huge favor? Please, can you go and subscribe and then write the word below subscribe? Because honestly, it really means so much to me, and our YouTube money goes to charity. So it's all for a good cause. Now, without further ado, let's dive right in. Let's start off with cleansers, but first let's move all of this. Now, when it comes to your cleansers, there's certain things I want you to look for. Number 1, it should be NAF safe. That means no denatured alcohol, no fragrance, and no essential oils. These things can irritate the skin, lead to hyperpigmentation, and this is a big problem for skin of color. The second thing I want you to look for are gentle surfactants. We don't want to strip the skin of oils. Already, skin of color has less ceramides, fats in our skin than Caucasian skin. So we need to hold onto the fats in our skin. We want gentle surfactants. So for a very basic cleanser, that's the minimum I want. But really, I have very high standards when it comes to skin of color. Ideally, I want actives and co-actives that boost each other and work for a specific reason. The last, but actually most important, is the percentage actives. You want to make sure the actives are not only there, but they're in the therapeutic index. And unfortunately, the cosmetics company is not as transparent as it should be. And I mean that on a global scale. The regulation for cosmetics is not as stringent as it is for medicine. I think sometimes people get duped by what's on a box. For example, I could write, oh, here's a retinol serum, and the retinol could be 0.001% or 0.0001%, not in the therapeutic index. I can still call it a retinol serum for anti-aging. And you would buy it because you think that what's on the box is correct. That's why this channel exists, is so that I can literally go through ingredients lists for you as a cosmetic formulator and tell you if it actually has what it says it has, if it's worth your money, and if it's gonna work or not. Starting off with salicylic acid face wash. Now, if you don't already know, salicylic acid is your BHA, and that is a fat-soluble acid that penetrates into the pore to help unclog pores. This is why if you have, say, blackheads or you have acne, we always tell you to wear 2% salicylic acid, either as a face wash or you have it in a leave-on serum. So let's see what they've done here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Nice bottle. Oh, whoopsie. Ah, I thought it'd come out white, and it's not, it's coming out very clear. Okay, that's fine. Good. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Okay, so let me tell you what is in it. It's obviously salicylic acid is a BHA, so that is going to dry the skin. And this is what's really important, that you have a high humectant ratio, meaning water magnet. So something like glycerin, for example, is my favorite humectant, holds water in the top layer of skin. That's very important to pair that with salicylic, and that is what they've done here. So first ingredient here is water, second is glycerin, the third ingredient here is cocomidyl propyl betaine, which is a very gentle surfactant. That's very important if you're dealing with salicylic acid. This is a lovely anti-inflammatory formula for acne. Actually, I would say it's quite similar to our anti-pollution face wash. In here, I put in your salicylic acid plus 0.5% peptides plus niacinamide plus a polystop. So it's anti-pollution. So if you live in a city and you have acne and you're surrounded by pollution, then you're gonna love this. But I actually really like this formula, and this is Dr. V approved. Next, we have the Aquasporin cleanser. No, Aquaporin. Aquaporin, not aquasporin. That'd be like an evil cleanser, wouldn't it? Aquaporin cleanser. Okay, so let's get in here. I do love the double packaging that these guys do. And that is just the cutest little note. Hide nothing. Love it, love it, love it. Beautiful. I even love their little quotes that they have. So this double packaging is actually quite expensive, but what it does is it keeps the box in very good condition. Okay, let's see what's in here. Again, this is coming out very clear, just lovely. Okay, so let me show you what's in this product. This is actually more for normal to dry skin. We've got water, then glycerin, then glycerol glucoside, which is your humectant, so it holds water in the top layer of skin. It's also got diglycerin in it too, which is also another humectant. And it's got sodium lauryl methyl isethionate, which is a very gentle surfactant, works very well for dry skin. It's got anti-inflammatories in here too. So I actually really like this formula for normal to dry skin. Moving on to the alpha lipoic plus glycolic. Sorry, there are some marks on this box. I'm not sure what happened. So the claim is it brightens the skin, and I think they think it's okay for daily use. Ooh. All right, look, I'm just going to come straight out and say 7% glycolic acid should not be used daily for anyone, let alone skin of color. This is a disaster. Okay, I'm going to go through it in a second, but what happens with glycolic acid is that you get immediate brightening with the skin, okay? But the problem is glycolic acid has the lowest molecular weight. It can fly through the skin and it can burn the skin. I would even say for the body, you can use glycolic acid, say, on the knees and elbows. I'd actually be happy and fine with that because it's such thick skin, but not for the face, and certainly not daily. You don't even exfoliate daily with mandelic acid. Even then I tell you to do it once to twice a week maximum. So this is a big mistake and absolutely should not be worn on skin of color. And this has been made in India for Indians. So, that's a problem. It says 7% glycolic acid. There's obviously a risk of burns. And then if you splash your face with hot water, which a lot of people wash their faces with hot water, heat activates acids and it makes them more potent. This is why if, for example, you have a chemical peel on the face, which is what this basically is, a chemical peel, and then you go and have a hot shower, you will burn your face because it activates acid. So heat plus acid is a mistake. Now imagine heat in India, which is already hot, plus acid plus hot water, you are asking for trouble. If you want to use this on your elbows and knees, fine. Please do not put this on your face, and I'm actually not even going to put this on my hand, but I will show you what it looks like just so that you are aware. It's coming out very clear, but it's not something I recommend, and it's not something I would wear. So this one is not Dr. V approved. Moving on to the oat extract cleanser. Okay, so the good thing about this product is that it's NAF safe. So there's no denatured alcohol, no fragrance, no essential oils. And the beauty actually of the entire range of Be Minimalist or Minimalist is that they don't contain fragrance. I hope none of them contain essential oils, but I can't remember. I'll go through it with you. Right, okay, so this is what it looks like. It's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, isn't it? Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I'm so pathetic with packaging. It's a lovely formula. Let me tell you what is in this product. So it's first water, which is fine. That's why it's coming out liquidy. Glycerin is your humectant, which is excellent. That's really important in your cleansers. It's got oat extract, which I love. That's also anti-inflammatory, very soothing. So that's why they say if you have eczema, have an oat bath. They've used sodium lauryl oat amino acids as the surfactant. Again, an anti-inflammatory surfactant, which I really like, and it's very mild. I'd say this is really good for dry skin, but this is not going to remove your makeup. The surfactants are too gentle. It's probably not going to remove layers of sunscreen either. So this is really more if you have a damaged skin barrier, sensitive skin, rosacea, then you would pick up this cleanser. And this one is Dr. V approved. Moving on to the PHA toner. Okay, let's see what's in here. So it says pore tightening and skin hydrating toner. That's actually quite a difficult thing to do together because usually salicylic acid to tighten pores or clean out pores, and then humectant to hydrate simultaneously. Here, they've gone down a slightly different route. That's what it looks like. So very liquidy. So in here, they've basically used water as a first ingredient, then gluconolactone. So gluconolactone is your PHA. It's a very gentle exfoliator. I love, love, love this ingredient for sensitive skin. They use niacinamide, which is beautiful for oily, acne-prone skin, good for dry skin, good for damaged skin barrier. Niacinamide is really your best friend. It should be in any of your skincare, like right from the cleanser right through to the moisturizer and sunscreen. They use butylene glycol, which is your humectant again, so to hydrate. So that's how they're coming up with the claim Hydrating Toner. They've used inulin, which is basically a prebiotic. It's really good for the good bacteria on your skin, and that's what maintains the health of your skin. Plus they put peptides in, which, as you know, I love. This is a nafe-safe formula. I'd say this is a really beautiful formula, but I think that they have branded this wrong, and I think the directions are wrong. So the directions on this is that you can use this AM and PM for all skin types. But actually, this is a chemical exfoliator, right? It's not a toner, it's a chemical exfoliator. Even though it's a gentle chemical exfoliator, and I'm happy for people with dry skin to use it 1 to 2 times a week even, you wouldn't use this morning and night. Because again, even though you think you're removing dead skin cells and you're getting that temporary brightening, which you will get, you are going out into the sun and you're doing it twice a day and you don't have protection of the skin. And it's only going to lead to more hyperpigmentation, more patchy skin. So that's a mistake. So I think they've just branded this thing wrong and given wrong directions to this particular product, because essentially PHA is a resurfacing acid versus, say, salicylic acid, your BHA. BHA in a toner, love it. It's really good for oily, acne-prone skin. It doesn't resurface the skin. PHA does resurface the skin. And so you have to look at it for what it is and use it correctly. So I'm happy for you to use this 1 to 2 times a week as a mild chemical exfoliator, but please do not use the directions on this packaging and using morning and night. This is not really a toner. I think they've just misbranded and mislabeled this unintentionally, but for skin of color, it's just something that I wouldn't recommend. So if you guys know who I am, you guys know that I created the Dr. V Renew range with the Dermaco. I released it last year, actually, in April, and it's available on Nykaa. But when we formulated it, in here we have, for example, the ABC peptide exfoliating serums. So in here is your AHA, your BHA, and your vitamin C. That's a resurfacing serum. You can apply this 1 to 2 nights a week to resurface the skin. This is very different to our hydrating toner. The peptide hydrating toner, even though it's got salicylic acid in it, which is another acid, it's your BHA. That's to unclog the pores. In here, of course, we put in peptides, niacinamide, and glycerin. And that, again, is because you want to pair salicylic acid with glycerin, as we've already discussed. You want the two together because it can dry the skin. And you want something to hydrate, especially in a hot country where you're sweating a lot. But this is why I'm teaching you, is because your AHAs should be worn 1 to 2 times a week max. Your BHAs you can wear daily. Moving on to the acids. Starting off with the AHA BHA exfoliator. Okay, so in here, if you look at the ingredients list, the first ingredient is water, which makes sense. That's why it's going to come up very liquidy in a second, as soon as I'm in here. Then they've used lactic acid, which I love. It's one of my favorite AHAs. Always look for lactic acid or mandelic acid when it comes to skin of color. Those are two best for us. And then, oh my Lord, what's going on here? Oh no. Okay, then the next ingredient they've used is glycolic acid at 5%. Actually, there's not much else in here. It's a nafe-safe product, so no denatured alcohol, fragrance, or essential oils. But I just don't like glycolic acid, and I certainly don't like it in a hot country. This is where it goes wrong, by the way. If you copy-paste a Western brand, this is the owner is a Canadian brand. I'm not saying anyone's copying anyone, but if you take inspiration from the West, be careful, because Western skincare has been tested on Caucasian skin. So even me, so for example, mine is a British-owned brand. Skincare by Dr. V is made in Great Britain. I'm so proud of that. But ultimately, when it comes to doing my independent studies, I have to go and ask the lab, okay, so I want clinical photography, or I want a clinical study done on skin of color. It's very difficult for them to recruit people who have skin of color that are near them in order to do that. So just from a proximity perspective, you end up with formulas that work really beautifully on Caucasian skin, but are a disaster for skin of color. And that's just the reality of the situation. And this is why you don't just want to copy paste a brand that was made for Caucasian skin in the West. Does that make sense? And this is why if you were the formulator and I said to you, right, go and make me an acid for skin of color, an exfoliator, you wouldn't pick glycolic acid. You would literally have picked any other acid except glycolic acid, you know? this is where the problem happens, is copy-paste situation is not good. You really should start from ground zero. Where are we at? What are the actives we can use? And let's make incredible formulas for Indian skin in India. And that is really the question you should start with. Having said that, a lot of the other formulas I love. It's just that when glycolic acid comes in, I feel like there's not much thought behind that, and it's more of a copy paste. And that's why you get slightly annoyed. So this one is not Dr. V approved. The next product is their AHA, BHA, PHA product. I thought I had it, but I don't have it. 25% AHAs. The second ingredient is glycolic acid. The third ingredient is lactic acid. That's actually worse than this product, by the way. So that is the other product to absolutely avoid. And I know some of you are going to be in the comment section going, but Dr. V, I saw really great results with mine. And I would say, yes, you may see really great results. And you probably will see really great results because all you're doing is taking off the top layer of skin. Of course, you're going to see really great results. But if you get unlucky and you become slightly too hot, or your skin is slightly too sensitive, or the skin barrier is not as strong as you thought it was, or you're wearing retinol the night before and now your skin can't tolerate an acid, if you burn in that situation, your melanocytes, the cells producing the pigment melanin, will not forgive you. Our skin does not forgive. It's like that really difficult auntie who just remembers everything. That's how our skin is, and we just can't afford to irritate it. And that's where I'm coming from. We need to give a lot of love when it comes to our skin, really understand our skin and give it what it needs. And so for that reason, we are going to avoid that product as well. This is the AHA, BHA, PHA. Before we move on, I realized I did buy it. There are so many products here. We literally have 30 products. This is going to be a 1-hour video. I'm telling you, this video is just not going to end. AHA, BHA, PHA. I don't know why I thought this would come out red like the ordinary one, but no, it's very yellow. I'm really scared to put this on myself. Okay, I'm doing it for science to show you what it looks like and how it feels. You can feel tingling immediately. Yeah, it does feel like it's going from stinging to burning quite fast. And I am actually under the lights, so I'm going to take this off. But just so you can see what that looks like. Obviously not approved. The next one is, of course, pure glycolic. Pure. Let's go in with the full 8%. We're not even going to try and tone it down with anything else. Okay, so that's what this looks like. So this is 8% glycolic acid. There's really nothing else in here. I would say for this particular product, it's okay for you to use this, say, on the body, but please avoid this on the face. This is not for our faces. It's coming out very liquidy. Maximum, if you want to use it on your elbows and knees, that's fine. Wash it off quickly. Make sure it's not in a hot shower, but really save your money. This is not Dr. V approved. Moving on to glycolic plus tranexamic acid body exfoliator. So here at least they said it's for the body, so I appreciate that. The ingredients list is basically starts off with water, then the next one is glycolic, so very high percentage, and then lactic acid. It's a pH of 3.4 to 3.8, so that means it's a low pH, which means that it is going to separate the top layer of skin quite quickly. It's coming out quite yellow. There you go. That's what it looks like on the skin. Okay. You know, the problem with this product is actually that the pH on here is 3.4 to 3.8, but actually tranexamic acid, the main ingredient in here, works at a higher pH of 5 to 7. So actually, you're not going to get the tyrosinase inhibiting effects that you want from the tranexamic acid because the pHs are different. This is why understanding pHs, and actually as a cosmetic formulator, that's one of your main roles, is to see what plays well together in order to get the results that you want. So here, all you're basically going to get is an exfoliator. You're not going to get the benefits of tranexamic acid, which is a problem, and they're probably charging a little bit extra because of tranexamic acid, but actually it's just a chemical peel. Again, it's okay if you want to wear this one night a week just on your elbows and knees, but actually I think this is a poorly formulated product, and this again is not Dr. V approved. Moving on to serums. 10% vitamin C. If this was 10% L-ascorbic acid, which is what I thought initially that's what they'd done, because that would be copy-paste situation, then I would have said no straight out, because L-ascorbic acid is not one that I recommend for skin of color, because essentially it's an acid. You are exfoliating and you certainly do not want to do that daily, okay? You want the benefits of vitamin C, but with L-ascorbic acid, treat it like an exfoliator that it is, and use it once a week. So it's a slightly different situation. So this is what it looks like. So it's a pipette, opaque. I like that it's opaque because they're trying to prevent light from destabilizing. So it looks like, I'll show you my hand. Very thin, absorbs nicely into the skin. No smell. And no burning sensation. Okay, let's see what's in here. It's 3-O-ethyl ascorbic acid, which is fine, so it doesn't irritate. It's a derivative of L-ascorbic acid. It's got gluconolactone as well, which is interesting. So that is your gentle PHA, your gentle exfoliator, plus glycerin. So I actually really love this for brightening. It says in there that you can use it AM and PM, but I would say if you're going to use this a couple of nights a week as your PM, right, because of the gluconolactone. I would also say that I don't like the fact that it's in this packaging. As you know, vitamin C is an antioxidant. It oxidizes in oxygen. So just imagine every time you open your bottle, like how much oxygen is going around that product. You actually don't know how effective the vitamin C is because the packaging's not right. And this is also where it can go wrong. If you copy paste a brand that this is what it looks like, then you're going to end up in the same mistakes, same problems as well. So I think that was a mistake, that their serums really should have been in airless pumps. I think they would have done better just in terms of efficacy of product. So I would say if you want to use this product, I'm happy for you to use it. I can't vouch for how effective the vitamin C is going to be, but it is a safe product. I like the form of vitamin C that's been used. I do like the fact they've used gluconolactone, but it means that you should not be using this in the mornings and certainly not daily either. So for that reason, I am going to say it's Dr. V kind of approved, but you can do better. Moving on to the vitamin A serums. So these are the retinols and the whole vitamin A derivatives. First of all, it's good to know that I've actually done a whole video on Nika on the best and worst vitamin A's. That's really important to watch. I think you're going to learn a lot about what to use, what not to use. But let's go through these, starting off with the 0.3%. Now, 0.3% retinol is the maximum that's allowed in the UK and EU for a reason. It's actually, when I did my clinical studies 15 years ago on skin of color, 0.3% was the percent at which there were no burns. After this, burns and irritation started to happen. And as you know, I've got very high standards when it comes to 0% burns. We cannot afford to burn our skin. And if you think across my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok channels, we have 500,000 people watching daily. If I had even 1% of burns, that would be tens of thousands of people who are burning daily. And I can't afford that because skin of color is not just the burn I'm worried about, it's the hyperpigmentation. So even when I formulated our retinol for you, it was the same situation where we basically had to make sure that everything was less than 0.3%. So in here I put in 0.2% retinol plus retinaldehyde. So retinaldehyde is what works 10 times faster than retinol with zero irritation. There are not many brands actually in the world using retinaldehyde because it's so expensive, but it has 0% irritation. And that's the key for us, is even retinol is irritating. Even when it's encapsulated, it can be irritating. Retinaldehyde, on the other hand, far more expensive, but 0% irritation. I'm glad that they got the percentage right on this particular product. This is a safe product, no denatured alcohol, no fragrance, no essential oils. However, the mistake that they have made for both this one and this one, which is 0.6%, which is the wrong percentage, is the packaging. Because don't forget that retinol is also an antioxidant. It also oxidizes in oxygen. And so for that reason, you do not want it in pipette packaging. You want it in an airless pump. And actually, I think they did a very good job on the last vitamin A that they made, which was this one. So this is the gram-active retinoid 2%. And in here, ta-da! Airless packaging. So I'll show you what this one looks like. It's coming out quite white, actually. So this is 2% gram-active retinoid. This is airless pump. It's a new form of vitamin A. It's actually good for more sensitive skin. It doesn't have as much data behind it as retinol, of course. Retinol's been around for a lot longer. But it is one that I would recommend, probably over the other two because of the packaging. Yeah, I think they did a really good job with this product. So this one is Dr. V approved. Moving on to alpha-arbutin. Alpha-arbutin is a very powerful tyrosinase inhibitor. It's one of my favorite actually, and it helps with dark marks, and it's actually first line treatment. I actually tell you to buy 2% alpha-arbutin before you buy any of my products even, because it's cheap and it works, and it's good for mild hyperpigmentation. If that doesn't work, then you upgrade to my product. For example, our retinol serum that I showed you before has got 3% peptides, 1% alpha-arbutin, your vitamin C, plus your 0.2% encapsulated retinaldehyde, which also helps with hyperpigmentation. So that's a cocktail cream. It's got lots of different actives working simultaneously. This alpha-arbutin 2% it's got aloe vera juice, which I like as the first ingredient. It's coming out quite gloopy, probably for that reason. Third ingredient in here is alpha-arbutin, which makes sense. And there's actually nothing else in this product. This is a nafe-safe product, no other actives. Blends in nicely into the skin. Definitely worth buying as your first stop for dark marks. Moving on to tranexamic acid, 3%. Okay, so this is the ingredients list. Starts off with water as a first ingredient, that's your universal solvent. Then it's got oats extract, which is also anti-inflammatory. Then it's got tranexamic acid, which makes sense at 3%. Everything after this, remember, is less than 3%. So you've got solvents, mandelic acid, okay, then more solvents, and then acetylglucosamine, which helps with penetration. I actually really like that ingredient. It is nafe safe, and I do like it for hyperpigmentation, and you can layer it with the alpha-arbutin. So you can, for example, use these two together. I would personally start with this one first and then put this one on top, just because alpha-arbutin is more effective and you want it to hit the skin first, penetrate, and then add on the next active. Comes out quite yellow. That's what it looks like. Now, the thing to remember is you can't just add unlimited number of actives. And this is sometimes where it can go a little bit wrong for skin of color brands, like brands in India who copy, because the reason being that we need more actives. And usually if we have hyperpigmentation, 1 or 2 actives don't really do it for us. We really need them in combination to treat pigmentation. And so it's a good start, right? It's a good way to start cheap, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then you need to upgrade. And if you put, say, 4 serums on, the third and fourth serum are not even going to penetrate to get into the skin, right? So you're looking at a maximum of 2 serums, and you have to pick what 2 serums go nicely together, and that's it. And so you're only really working with 2 actives. And that's what you have to bear in mind, is how many things can you really put on your skin, what's actually penetrating, what's actually working, and what's just a waste of your time. Having said that, this is a Dr. V approved product. Moving on to the vitamin C, vitamin E, ferulic acid, 16%. Very interesting formula. So it's actually a very simple formula. It's non-irritating. However, the directions are wrong on this product. The directions say you can use it AM and PM. That's a mistake. Ferulic acid is an acid, and it exfoliates the skin. So you certainly do not want to be doing this morning and night. This is a PM product because of the ferulic acid only. Very light, penetrates easily into the skin. No, it's got the classic kind of chemically smell, you know. It's because it's a fragrance-free brand and I love it. I would say this is definitely a Dr. V approved product, but, oh no, hold on. Oh no, they didn't. Oh, mistake. So vitamin C, of course, is your antioxidant, and actually so is ferulic acid. So I actually really like the formula, but I don't like the packaging. Come on, minimalist. You know you have access to Alice packaging. So what are we doing here? Can we please get this reformulated? I know you're watching. And if you're not watching, guys, if you want to tag Minimalist, so then tell them to redo their packaging, and I'll make you a video and I will promote your product, because it is a really good formula, but I just don't like the packaging. So let's get that fixed. Moving on to multi-peptides. Okay, so this is a very good formula. You know I love my peptides. So here they put in 7% matrixyl, which is excellent, plus oligopeptides, which I like. It comes out as quite a cloudy formula. It is a serum. Oh, very gloopy. First ingredient in here is water. Second ingredient in here is glycerin, then peptides. And then they've added ferment, which I really like. I'm not sure if I spoke about it in this video. Ferment is essentially a conditioner of the skin. We've got more and more clinical data coming out on it. But actually, I formulate with ferment a lot nowadays because it It really does help boost the skin, especially with age. So I love that. The only thing I would say about that is that they've used a very low percentage of ferment. It is a nail-safe product, and I think it's a really nice formula for early fine lines. It's not going to do, masses for the skin. It's good for early fine lines. I would recommend it for that. And so this is a Dr. V approved product. Hyaluronic acid. So this has become all the rage. Hyaluronic acid is everywhere. I remember coming to India and just seeing it on billboards. Now listen, this is the most overrated ingredient. Hyaluronic acid is an ingredient that you use at a fraction of a percent. It is just a humectant. It just holds water in the top layer of skin. And really, any cosmetic formulator worth their weight is going to put hyaluronic acid in your moisturizer. It's literally going to be in your moisturizer, or glycerin. It's going to be in your moisturizer. It's going to be in your toner. It's going to be in your face wash. You certainly do not need a whole other layer, wasted, by the way, on hyaluronic acid. Because remember I said you can only use 2 serums. Why would you waste it on this? So this is just pure marketing. This is pandering to the masses and actually total waste of your time. And the other thing I would say about hyaluronic acid is if you go too strong with it, like this, for example, you may well see a glow immediately. But actually what can happen is because it's a very powerful water magnet, if you are in a dry area or you're sweating a lot, it's going to absorb water from the lower layers to the top of your skin. That's a problem because then you're dehydrating the lower layers. It's not telling you where the water is going to come from. Ideally, what you want, a situation where you've got a humidifier next to your bed, you have this on and you're drawing water from the air into your skin. You do not want water molecules from the lower layers coming up to the surface. That would be a problem. And so for these reasons, I feel like I'm on Dragon's Den. For these reasons, I'm out. No, seriously, guys, avoid this product. Not approved. Okay, moving on to niacinamide 10%. Now, this was one of their original formulas. Can you guess where this idea came from? You guessed it right. It was The Ordinary. And the reason is, it's a little bit like if one person makes a mistake and everyone copies that person, suddenly everyone's making the same mistake and suddenly you see 10% niacinamide serums everywhere. The problem is 10% is not the correct percentage. Clinical studies show the correct percentage is 2 to 5%. 10% can actually cause irritation. And remember what I told you about skin of color? It is unforgiving and it will not forgive you if you irritate it. So let's not do this. This is what it looks like. Again, nowadays, we actually have niacinamide in virtually everything. We have it in our face wash, our toners, our moisturizers. This is our Skin Renew Peptide Moisturizer. And in here as well, of course, I've put in your niacinamide. Because why would you waste time putting niacinamide on as one of your 2 vital layers instead of just putting it into your moisturizer? So let me show you what this looks like. So it comes out like a gel. Very light, and I made it specifically obviously for India so it doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and that's quite important. So unfortunately this one is not Dr. V approved. I totally missed this one, guys. They also have niacinamide 5%. Yay! Okay, so of course I'm going to tell you, go and buy the 5%, not the 10%. But I would also say have a look at the rest of your skincare. If it contains niacinamide, then you don't need to do this. If it doesn't contain niacinamide and you're going for very simple moisturizers, then fine. Then fine. I'm very happy for you to go and buy the 5%, and this one is Dr. V approved. Moving on to 2% salicylic acid. This I love, love, love. And this is an example of when you copy and it goes right. And actually, do you know who started this 2% leave-on salicylic acid? It wasn't The Ordinary, it was Paula's Choice. So Paula, a very clever lady, I believe she also herself had acne-prone skin. So she came up with this idea. Instead of just like washing off the salicylic acid, what if I leave it on? Would it work? And lo and behold, it did. And not only did it worked so well that virtually every brand came out with their own version of 2%, including Skincare by Dr. V, by the way. I've got my own acne range called Trio Blemish. I actually made a leave-on salicylic acid 2%, but obviously I added in like green tea extract, tyrosinase inhibitors, anti-inflammatories. So I made it for skin of color, but ultimately it was the same 2% salicylic acid active that she came out with. So that's what's going on here. Does anyone else like skincare history, or is that just me? I could just be a nerd. It's fine. If I'm here on my own, doing my own history, that's fine. But if you want me to tell you more about skincare history, let me know. That's what this comes out like. You know, guys, today we have filmed, how many videos? We've already filmed 3 videos. I've done Hyphen today. What else did we film today? Filmed Hyphen, we filmed, a lot newer. So, you know, you guys wanted me to do more Korean skincare. I've got Innisfree. I need to after this. I have 9 scripts I'm supposed to be filming today. Happy New Year. Okay, so moving on to moisturizers. Starting off with the Ceramide Moisturiser, 0.3%. I love it. First of all, ceramides, we have less ceramides in our skin than Caucasian skin. And so we do need ceramides, and I love that they've done this. Let's see what it looks like. So it comes actually quite thick, which is good. I got asked a lot, actually, when I came to India to launch our range, Dr. V, can you make something for very dry skin or eczema-prone skin, which I haven't done, but actually, this is a very nice moisturizer. Guys, if you do get eczema, please, can you make sure, I know you can get over-the-counter steroids in India, but I want you to avoid it because it can lead to thinning skin. It's a mistake. And actually, even in the UK, it's prescription only. That's how you get steroid creams for that reason. So please don't abuse the skin with eczema with steroids. So just note to self. I really like this product. This one is Dr. V approved, and I'm just gonna tell you what's in it. First ingredient is water, then it's oats, which is anti-inflammatory, then it's emollient, so conditioning to the skin, then it's glycerin, which is your humectant, then bisabolol, which is your anti-inflammatory, then it's got petrolatum, which is your occlusive, and I love petrolatum. A lot of people are against petrolatum for the wrong reasons. They don't fully understand the science of petrolatum, but it's very good for our skin, so you want that. It's got a variety of ceramides, which is normal. This is a safe product, and I would definitely recommend it. So, Dr. V approved. Moving on to Cepicom. So I think I've already done a video on Cepicom. Back in the day, like literally 6 months ago, I saw about 1,000 videos and I realized I'd actually never bought any products. We were essentially, I was looking at Inky List, Ingredients List as a formulator and would just tell you whether it's worth it or not. And then some of my followers started saying, Dr. V, can you actually buy the products and show us on your hand what it looks like? So that's what I started to do. But Cepicom was one of the first that I had reviewed before buying, and I remember loving it. So let's see what it looks like. So it's a white bottle, probably has a security tag. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Oh, again, quite thick. I'll tell you, I think it's thicker than the other one. Slightly lighter, actually, than the last one, than the Ceramide Moisturiser. So in here, there is water, then it's oats, so your anti-inflammatory, then it's squalane, which I love, love, love. Squalane is one of my favorite oils. Even when you're doing a scalp massage, if you had to pick an oil, pick squalane, because it doesn't feed malassezia that leads to dandruff. But squalane is great. It's even great as a facial oil. If at nighttime your skin's feeling very dry, then after you've moisturized, apply 100% squalane oil. In fact, Minimalist does one. Love, love, love. But yes, beautiful ingredient. And then it's got glycerin, so your water magnet. So I would say this is an anti-inflammatory moisturizer, and it's really good for rosacea or dry skin. Although even the ceramide cream is really good and slightly thicker, I would say, than Cepicom. So this one is Dr. V approved. Moving on to vitamin B5, 10%. It comes out as like a light gel. So here, the ingredients are water, then cyclopentasiloxane. So that's basically your silicone, very light on the skin. Then it's got panthenol, so that is your anti-inflammatory. I really like this, actually, the feel on the skin. Then it's got dimethicone. So dimethicone is great because it's a very heavy silicone. So I use that actually a lot. Then we've got glycerin, which is your humectant, then zinc and allantoin, which are anti-inflammatories. So I say this is a really nice lightweight moisturizer for oily skin. There isn't anything in here that are antibacterials or help with sebum production, but it is a lightweight gel-based moisturizer. This one is Dr. V approved. So if you have oily, acne-prone skin, or you have combination skin and you suffer with hyperpigmentation, then I actually made you this moisturizer, which brightens the skin. Let me show you what it looks like on the skin. So again, it comes out very lightweight like this. In here, I put in peptides, 1% vitamin C, 1% ceramides, 2% niacinamide in order to help control sebum production. And that's why I said, look for your moisturizer and make sure it doesn't have niacinamide in it before you go and buy a niacinamide serum. Plus, of course, allantoin melatonin, so that's your anti-inflammatory. So ideally, my favorites are always going to be cocktail products where one product is doing multiple functions. I think previously, when we were first learning about skincare, we were happy to buy single actives. And as we evolve and we start to understand how actives work, we start to think, oh, which ones work really well together and just saves me time. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm a busy mum, and literally I have 2 minutes in the morning to get ready and look half decent before I drop the kids to school. And so that's why basically we try and make everything much faster. Moving on to the last moisturizer, which is the marula oil. Now this one I found quite interesting. It's a very simple moisturizer, and I'm not sure why they made it. So this is essentially just a very hydrating, simple moisturizer. And the thing is, I'd say it's coming out slightly thicker than the other two. The ingredients list basically says water, glycerin, then it's got marula seed oil, and then emollients, and that's it. And the thing is, usually when you're a company, you look at what you've made and where the gaps are that need to be filled. But they've essentially just gone and made 3 moisturizers that are very good for dry skin, which is just odd, because how do you then pick between them? And this can also be a curse that happens as you get bigger and bigger and you're producing so many different SKUs. It can become really confusing to the person buying. The price point of these products are excellent. The quality of the products are excellent. Obviously, I don't like all the products, which is why I made this video for you. But this is one of the curses that can happen when you get too big, too fast, and just suddenly in a situation where you've got this, 3 very almost identical products that confuses people, a little bit unnecessarily. So I think they have made a little bit of a mistake, to be honest, with making so many different moisturizers. They could have kept it a bit easier for you, but actually I do like all of them, and I think they've done a really good job on their moisturizers, unlike their exfoliators. Guys, we're down to our last 4 out of 30. I never thought we would make it. Starting off with the nanopeptide AHA. Right, so this says AM, which is, as you guys know, a mistake for an acid for skin of color. So, no, they didn't. Oh, what? Guess which acid they picked. Very nice packaging. Glass packaging, very interesting. That is beautiful packaging. A second, let's see what it looks like. Do I have to push it down? The ball is not rolling. I'll try something else. Oh, here we go. There's some liquid coming out, I think. There we go. It's coming out. It does feel nice and heavy, I would say, on the hand. Let's go through the inky list. Oh, this is where they went wrong. Do you know why I got confused? It's because they've written on the front with mandelic acid and licorice root. So that sounds amazing. And then I look at the ingredients list, and it is mandelic as the 3rd ingredient, 4th, 5th, 6th, and then it's glycolic acid, which you definitely don't put on the armpit. The armpit should never have glycolic acid on it. I've done a whole video on, the whole trend that happened with glycolic acid, people putting it for hyperpigmentation on their armpits, but it was actually burning skin of color, leading to very dark underarms because of burns. And because what happens is, it's not like normal skin, the underarms. The underarms becomes very hot. And remember I told you, heat activates acids. It makes it more strong. And so you don't put that on a roll-on that is designed to treat hyperpigmentation on the underarms. It's such a mistake. They were so close actually to an excellent formula. And beautiful packaging. They really went wrong at the end. This is one to avoid. Moving on to L-ascorbic acid lip balm. In here, the first ingredient is glycerin, which I actually really like. Glycerin is your humectant. That's actually quite thick. I don't know why more lip balms don't have glycerin as the first ingredient. Oh, there we go. It's quite nice and thick. Oh, it's making noises. So it's coming out nice and thick. Let's see how it feels. Not too sticky actually, very nice. Oh, bit of a stink. Oh, that is not a good smell. You're not going to want this on your lips, I think. Okay, so I've got glycerin, then it's got petrolatum, then it's got emollients, which I like. So there's a conditioners and occlusives, but they put 8% ascorbic acid. That is an exfoliator. It's just too harsh. You certainly should not be wearing this during the day and then going out into the sun. This is a big mistake. You will see immediate brightening, and then you're going to see rapid darkening of the lips because you're triggering your melanocytes. Big problem. You should instead only be wearing SPF 50 when you go out on your lips. Yeah, this is a mistake. Big mistake, don't buy, avoid. Moving on to the SPF 50. Now don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed, please do me the huge favor of subscribing. It really helps me. And it also means that you get to come and ask me your skincare questions. Don't forget, the first hour of every video, I am in the comment section. So use that time to come and ask me. It doesn't even have to be about the video you're watching. It could be about something else that you're struggling with. Right, let's talk about the sunscreen. So this is what it looks like. Comes actually quite thick, which I'm surprised about. I really thought they would have done a thinner one, considering it is India, and India is very hot. Let's see how it rubs in. Maybe I put in too much on my hand. Yeah, maybe. It's not bad though, considering I did actually overload my hand. It's not bad. It's okay. It blends quite nicely actually, no white cast. Oh, they did the same mistake Kriti Sanon did with her sunscreen to put octocrylene in. This is a chemical filter and it's one that I don't like because it enters the bloodstream. And so for me, this is just a hard no. I always say go for mineral sunscreen, guys. That is your zinc oxide, 100% mineral sunscreen, because it doesn't enter the bloodstream, right? It sits on the skin. It is used during pregnancy for this reason. It doesn't enter breast milk. It doesn't go into your urine. And this is why I say, even for our children, they should be using mineral sunscreen. So as you already know, I made Inzincable for my global skin of color family. It was the first mineral sunscreen ever for darker skin tones that didn't enter the bloodstream. Plus I put in blue shield protection. Plus I put in Melashield, which helps with hyperpigmentation for skin of color. It's one of the hardest formulas I've ever created. We've got 42 products and this one was the hardest one to create. It took years to develop. When it comes to chemical sunscreens, they're actually very easy to formulate. That's why there's so many of them. When you go to the drugstore, it's all chemical sunscreens on the market. They're cheap and easy to make. The downside is with chemical sunscreens is that they penetrate into the bloodstream, and I don't like it for that reason. Again, just because the number of people who are watching me, I can't afford to cause any irritation to my global skin of color family, and that is why I have maybe ridiculously high standards, but for me, just very high standards, because I have a duty of care to you. And last but not least, I thought we should end on a positive note. And this is the Squalane 100%. Love, love, love this product. Everyone should have a Squalane that has dry skin. This is such a lovely gift to give. It should be the last step of your nighttime skincare routine. This is what it looks like. I'm even happy for you to massage this into your scalp if you have a dry, flaky, irritated scalp. But it's just a product that we should all have. So for me, this one is Dr. V approved. Now what's the best and worst retinols on Nykaa?